What a headshot! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. And in this video, I'm going to take you guys through my final team selection for the upcoming Game Week 1. So I know that I actually created a team selection over on Monday, but there's been a large kind of bombshell that's just dropped today, and that's why I wanted to create this video to give you guys an update on my team. Now, I will be covering what that bombshell is, but all you guys have to know is that FPL's made a massive pricing mistake, and we should actually take advantage of that in our own teams. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer, I'll be going through 2 drafts here just to show you guys what you can do with this new pricing mistake. But if you guys want to get the most up-to-date team as possible, please be there on the deadline stream tomorrow, 1 hour before the deadline. You guys can put my YouTube notifications on, my Twitter notifications. I will announce when I do go live, and I want to give you guys a little bit of a reminder of when the deadline is actually happening. So if I see you guys there, but in terms of this video, as I mentioned, I'm going to be going through 2 drafts, 2 great teams, and I'll probably be going for one of them come that deadline for Game Week 1. As I always say, comment down below what your guys' current drafts are, then comment what your current draft will be after watching this video, because you might not know what's actually happened in FPL today. So that being said, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. This video has been sponsored by FantasyFootballFix.com, introducing the Elite XI Team Reveal, the most advanced team reveal to date, with push notifications allowing you to track every move these managers make throughout the season. With a combined 77 top 10k finishes, you don't want to miss out on this one. Compare your team to these elite managers. Unlock stats and data to see how these managers maintain their teams. Find out more about the Elite XI Team Reveal over at FantasyFootballFix.com. So before we get on to the actual talking points and the drafts, I want to give you guys a reminder about the membership to my YouTube channel. Now, if you guys have watched this on my team selection, just skip ahead. I'm going to talk about largely the same talking points. I just want to remind you guys over 2 videos so the coverage map is a little bit stronger. But in terms of the membership, what I'm talking about this, if you guys do go to my channel and join my channel, there's 3 tiers, the member, the supporter, and the legend. And if you guys do choose one of those memberships, you guys can get the following perks. The first one is going to be my team reveals, and that's only going to be for the legend members. We then have a Discord channel where the supporters and the legends have their own chat, along with the global chat for everyone. And then finally, you guys get badges which you can showcase in the comments down below or also on my streams. Now, the biggest talking point is going to be the team reveals, and what I want to say to you guys is I'm not going to be limiting any content. My content is going to stay exactly the same. My team selections, my deadline streams, my game week previews, all that good stuff. And if I do choose to make transfers either before the team selection or in the deadline stream, I'm not going to hide that from you guys if you're not legends or members. So in terms of those regards, nothing's changing. However, let's just say I make a transfer on Sunday night or Monday night and I only record the team selection on Wednesday. Well, let's just say I make a transfer after the team selection, even though I've spoken about it in that prior video. That confirmation will only come over my Discord channel or my YouTube Legends posts. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of team reveals. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I'm actually doing this. The first one's the obvious one. There's been a lot of people actually copying my team. I don't really have too much of a problem with this, but some other people do. I generally think it's quite flattering if you guys choose to copy my team, as you think that I'll actually get you a good rank. But this will kind of limit the amount of people that will copy my team. So maybe if you have someone that watches me in your mini leagues, it might be a little bit fairer, but at the end of the day, this is FPL and I'm not guaranteed to actually do well. But the second talking point is probably the most important one, to be honest. It's that I can monetize my content even more. As you guys know, I'm not a full-time content creator, so I do this after my day job, and therefore it actually takes up quite a lot of time. So I think that you guys can understand why I want to monetize my channel a little bit more. I don't have a Patreon, that sort of thing, so this is going to be the only other way that you guys can support me. But I just wanted to put this out there because I want you guys to be confused. Come Game Week 2, maybe I have an extra 0.1 in the bank because I made a move a little bit earlier on. So that's why I just want to clear the air, and you guys can let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions. But now that the admin's kind of out the way, let's focus on the talking point. And the reason why I actually made this video is that FPL released an absolute bombshell today, Wednesday morning, when they released the new prices. So if you guys don't know Schmeichel from Leicester, obviously the Leicester goalkeeper, been there for quite a few years. He has actually departed the club, and right now Leicester not signed a replacement. So what does FPL go and do? They priced the third choice Leicester goalkeeper at 4.0. So now we have Ward and Iverson both at 4.0. So you guys can do the math there, 4 plus 4 equals 8. So you guys can get a nailed Leicester goalkeeper combo for only 8 million. Now, the obvious disclaimer there is that if Leicester go and sign a new goalkeeper, he probably will be first choice. There's been some rumors about a Dubravka from Newcastle. Now, they've signed Nick Pope, so I would keep my eyes on that up until that Game Week 1 deadline. But for now, we can assume that you can get these 2 goalkeepers. So that now gives you an extra 0.5 if you went for Edison, an extra 1.5, that sort of thing. So now you can put that extra money into your starting 11. So that's why I think personally that FPL did make a mistake on the prices. They should have priced Iverson at 4.5, and then we wouldn't be having this debate. But now that we do have it, and if Leicester don't sign a replacement, I think we have to almost go for this combination. But you guys can comment down below, do you think this is actually worth it? Do you think it's not? Are you kind of going for this combination? Or who's your starting goalkeeper? Now, my personal opinion on this kind of selection is that I don't really like the Leicester fixtures. I mean, just think about your normal drafts. You probably didn't have a Leicester option. Maddison might have come close at that 8.0 million mark, but generally the defense was pretty bad last season, and that's why I've been put off them. The fixtures also in the opening 6 to 8 aren't that strong. They play a lot of kind of traditional top 6 sides, and therefore I don't even think there's going to be any clean sheets there. I've seen the debate over on Twitter, some people saying that Schmeichel last season did not have a great defense in front of him, but yet he still scored a massive amount of points. I do agree, but we're not talking about Schmeichel here, we're talking about Ward and Iverson. But I do think we've kind of been blessed here. If you guys were going for a 4.5, I think this move kind of makes sense. I think if you guys were going for Edison, it's a new kind of debate to go for because he still is such a quality keeper and you're probably going to get a lot more points from him. But if Leicester don't sign a replacement come game week 1, I think it's going to be very tempting to go for. But as I said, let me know in the comments down below what you guys are doing. But now let's go on to the first draft. This is going to be a 4-4-2 formation, and what I've actually done here is I've varied my team selection team to incorporate this combination of Ward and Iverson. Then I've shown you where I've upgraded other departments. So in terms of the bank, we've got 0.0 in the bank, so thanks to that combination, we're not going to save that 0.5, it's going straight back into the starting 11. And if you guys do look at my bench, it's the exact same bench from that draft, but now we have a 4.0 goalkeeper in Iverson. So Andreas Pereira, Neco Williams, Archer, that's been my consistent kind of bench 3. Now that Iverson's come in, we can complete that bench. So still enough coverage in my opinion. Andreas Pereira and Neco Williams look fine. I think they should get minutes, should get some points if you need them off the bench, but hopefully with the starting 11 you won't need them too much. The goalkeeper of choice in the starting 11 has already kind of been spoilt. It's going to be Danny Ward from Leicester at 4.0 million. So right now Ward does look like the first choice, but now that you guys have both of them, Ward and Iverson, who kind of knows is going to be first choice? But you don't have to worry about that because if one starts and one's benched, they will just inter-rotate. So the only situation that will come back to bite you will be the minority. Let's just say Danny Ward gets injured after 40 minutes, then Iverson comes off the bench. You obviously won't get that clean sheet point, but as I said, that's a very minority and scarce situation. So now going on to our back line, and we've managed to go pretty premium for our back four. The first player is going to be Trent Alexander-Arnold, an essential option, been in basically all my drafts, most of your guys' drafts as well. Great asset to kind of go for, great price. I think FPL priced them at. Underpriced in my opinion, but I'm not going to complain about that because I'm going to put him in my team. We saw in the Community Shield how attacking Trent's been, scored that goal. Yes, it was a deflection, but still showed how forward he's getting. So I do like the right side, but also the left side of Liverpool. Obviously, at that left back position is going to be Andy Robertson. You guys know how I love this combination of the defenders. TAA, Robbo, yes, it is expensive, 14.5 on 2 players, but I do think it's worth it because these premium defenders have attacking and defensive threat. The fixtures are great for Liverpool, and that's why I'm going for this double up. And if you guys don't have a triple up in Liverpool, I would suggest going for it. It might even be slightly more affordable if you guys do go for Ward and Iverson. Now moving on to our next defender, it's going to be Cancelo. The similar situation with Robbo and Trent. Loves getting forward. Clean sheets are going to be there. Man City are a quality team. Cancelo's great. And 7.0 million is good enough for me. So here I've got some Man City and some Liverpool coverage, but this is exactly the same as my prior team selection. But here's where we kind of switch things up a bit. So now our fourth defender to go for is actually going to be James from Chelsea. I really wanted Reece James. I think this back four is my back four of choice. I think the Chelsea wingback is going to get you a load of points. Let's just hope that he does play in that back five. There's been some rumors of him potentially being a right centre back or them playing a back four. I'm just going to hope that Tuchel plays the back five formation that Chelsea did play last season. And therefore you guys know that James in that formation is an absolute beast. So 6.0 million is perfectly fine for me. With Iverson and Ward, we can now afford him. And that's why I had to go for him. The Chelsea fixtures might not be that strong, but I still think that James can get some attacking returns if there aren't no clean sheets, but I still do think they'll get a couple in the opening couple game weeks. So the back four looks absolutely stacked. Let's hope that the midfield four looks just as good. We're going to start off with Mo Salah, so a good start there. The Egyptian comes in quite expensive, but I do think he's worth it. I think a lot of people have actually been migrating back to Salah, so no one's really hashtag no Salah anymore. And if you guys do go for Ward and Iverson, there's no excuse, because you now will probably only lose 0.5 from going for Salah to Son. So for me, as an essential option, will be my captain probably most game weeks, and that's why I have him in my team. Let me know in the comments down below if you actually are still no Salah and why. But now as we kind of switch up our midfield department slightly, I've actually gone for a different 8.0 midfielder. I'm not going for Mason Mount anymore, I'm actually going for Saka. So if you guys do know what's coming, you'll understand that I've actually tripled up on this Arsenal attack, and I just think that Saka right now has increased his weight in most people's rankings, and he might even still be on penalties. But I'm not going to claim that he's going to be on penalties because the Arsenal situation is all over the place. We have Martinelli in there, we have Jesus in there. But I do think Saka might still be on them because he ended last season pretty well, even though Martinelli took the last one. So this is going to be a little bit of a punch here, but I wanted to show you guys something different. I think the 3 Arsenal attackers is going to be mega differential with those lovely fixtures, their cheap price points. This could be one of those nice differential moves to actually do. But obviously, if you want to go for Mason Mount, that's also a situation that you can go for. I just wanted to show you guys something a little bit different, and that's why I did go for Saka. Another change from the team selection is going to be in the cheaper midfield slot. I actually had to downgrade Pedro Neto to Bailey to save that extra 0.5. So the 0.5 from Danny Ward and the 0.5 from Neto to Bailey allowed us to get Reece James, and I think that move's actually worth it. Now the unfortunate thing with Bailey is that he might not be nailed for the foreseeable future. Villa's fixtures after the first 3 don't look as strong, so this might be a situation where we have to switch him out come game week 4. But right now, to afford this draft, I had to go for him. I think he's a fine option for the opening 3, but after that, that's going to put a little bit of a span in the works. Now, Stevie G has been praising him heavily, had a great preseason. I think he should start for Aston Villa in the opening couple game weeks, and that's why I've gone for him. And then our final midfielder to go for, probably being spoiled by Arsenal triple up that I said earlier on, it's going to be Martinelli at 6.0 million. So Martinelli has actually been a mainstay in most of my drafts recently. I just think at that price point looks sensational, especially when you factor in that Smith Rowe should be out for at least 1 or 2 game weeks. Yesterday we did get news that he's probably going to miss the start of Arsenal's season, so Martinelli should be fine for the short-term future, and at that price point, I'm going to go for him. Completing that Arsenal triple up in attack is going to be Gabriel Jesus, the most owned player in FPL at the current moment. At 8.0 million, I can understand why. Between him and Saka, it's going to be an interesting kind of fight. So why debate when you can actually get both of them? That's kind of the thinking I went for in this draft, but you guys probably are calling me an absolute maverick. You're probably saying this is a complete mistake, and I understand that, but I just wanted to show you guys something differential because I do think this triple up could actually pay off. Jesus and Arsenal's form in preseason has been sensational. They've scored a whole bunch of goals, kept some clean sheets, but we're going to favor more of the goal side of things. Talking about goals in preseason and goals in general, Harry Kane's going to be our last option to get. Now this will kind of go down to the wire, Harry Kane or Haaland, which one to kind of go for. Both come at the same price point, but both are very different kind of options for the opening couple. You want Harry Kane for game week 1, you want Haaland for game week 2. Is it worth kind of banking in that transfer? Who kind of knows? But right now, I do prefer Kane. But with Bailey in our team, and considering we might have to transfer him out, I might actually just go for Haaland for the start. But this is going to be the first draft. Basically, my team selection updated. We took Mason Mount out, put Saka in. We've got James in our team, and we have that 8.0 goalkeeper rotation from Leicester. Let me know what you think about this draft down below. I know the 4-4-2 is a popular formation. I personally really like this draft, and that's why I think I'm slightly leaning towards this one. But now we're actually going to move into another draft that I think you guys might find quite attractive. It's going to be a 5-3-2. So yes, a big at the back formation, and spoiler alert there, this draft is absolutely massive at the back, except for maybe the goalkeeper, which you guys probably know who's coming. But the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is bottom right there, 1.0 million left in the bank. So yes, you guys read that right. I could actually afford this draft with 1 million to go, and I'll talk about some moves that you guys could potentially make to upgrade this. Now the reason I've left this in the bank is I want to make this draft a little bit more modular. I want to show you guys what you can actually deal with and how good this team actually looks like with an extra mil in the bank. So starting off with the bench, we've got Iverson at 4.0. This video is going to revolve around that kind of Leicester rotation, but now unfortunately we've had to have 2 midfielders in Andreas and De Silva. Now De Silva was actually playing for Brentford in the preseason, but with some signings coming for Brentford, I think his place might be actually rotated. So you guys might be better off going for someone like a Longstaff from Newcastle, or maybe even a Hayden in that midfield department. But right now I'm still going with De Silva and just hoping that those Brentford moves fall through. Then finally Archer is my 4.5 of choice, but you guys can go for simply anyone. I'm just going for Archer because I think he might actually get some minutes under Stevie G, now that it's confirmed that he's going to stay at the club. But now let's actually move on to our starting 11 and the goalkeeper. You guys already know who it is. It's going to be Danny Ward from Leicester. And I think at 4.0, he could be great value, but honestly, I actually don't know. So this is actually the first transfer move that you guys could lock in. You could actually upgrade Ward to someone like a Ramsdale, or maybe even go for a Benjamin Mendy, or just a 4.5 with that extra money in the bank. So that's why this draft is a bit more modular. You guys can rotate around with it. If you don't want to go for Ward, you can go for another option, as I know some people actually don't like those Leicester fixtures. But now we're going to go over kind of the more essential options in each department because I don't want to waste your guys' time. I'm not going to talk about someone like a Trent and a Salah yet again. So in terms of the defense, I've got Trent, Cancelo, and James as my kind of back 3. I love the TCJ formation. You guys can probably get a better acronym there. But these 3 are going to be my favorite defenders, and that's why I'm super happy that I managed to afford them. Going into midfield department, we've got Salah and we've got Martinelli, 2 mainstays in most of my drafts. I think these 2 provide massive value. Salah for captain, Martinelli because he's cheap and has great fixtures. And then in the forward department, those fixtures continue with Gabriel Jesus. So you guys can see this is how I kind of made this draft. I picked the players that I think are more essential. I love this back 3, those midfield 2, and I'm going to go for Gabriel Jesus. But now let's see what we can actually do with the rest of the formation. So first off, we're going to complete our defensive department, and what a better way to complete them with a Man City and a Spurs fullback. It's going to be Walker and Perisic. So Walker comes in at 5.0, whereas Perisic comes in at 5.5. Now you guys can also go for Doherty, but I just prefer Perisic. Has the higher ownership. I think that he has the less rotation on that side, whereas Doherty has some players competing with him. It just depends if he's actually going to start the season and get many minutes. So I'll be waiting for Conte's press conference to see if he's actually going to be fit. I think he should be, but I'm waiting for some confirmation there. But at the end of the day, Conte probably won't tell us that he'll start the opening 6 game weeks and be subbed after 60 minutes. Kyle Walker is also an interesting one at 5.0. Currently, Man City haven't already signed a replacement fullback for Zinchenko, so theoretically Walker should be nailed, but there might be some rotation there. There's been some rumours potentially about a John Stones or Nathan Ake playing at that right back slot, as currently it looks like Cancelo will start on the left. But still, nevertheless, if Walker starts and he gets minutes, he'll get you FPL points. This is Man City at the end of the day, and 5.0 for Man City defender should actually be worth it. But now we have another chance that you guys could potentially make. If you don't want to go for Kyle Walker, you could also go for a Diaz at an extra 1 million. So upgrade that 5 to a 6 million defender, and you could also go for Diaz. So that could be another move that you guys consider, but if you don't go for it, the back 5 looks absolutely stacked. Yes, Ward in the back is not that great, but you guys could also upgrade him with that extra money. What you guys might have noticed is that throughout my kind of team selections and my drafts, I've always had Robbo and Trent, but now I don't. So yes, I've actually gone for a Luis Diaz draft. My final draft of this season is going to be a Luis Diaz draft, as if you guys watched yesterday's video, the algorithm might have actually sided me to going with the Colombian. So fitting in the middle of our midfield is going to be the 8.0 midfielder. The left winger should be starting most games with Jota out injured until at least the end of August. So no competition, Liverpool love to score goals. I just hope that Luis Diaz is involved in them. So the nice thing about going with Diaz is that you guys can afford that back 5. Downgrading Robertson to a Cancelo or Robertson to a James allows for a nice spread of defenders. Whereas with the midfielders at 8.0, there's not necessarily one that I super want to go for. So that's my current thinking about going with Diaz versus Robbo, is that there's a lot of defenders I want, but not a lot of midfielders at that price point. So at these current price points, I might actually just go for the Colombian and get the defenders that I want. Now finally going to our forward department, I'm going to switch out Harry Kane for Erling Haaland, just because as I spoke about, if you guys are planning to lock in the transfer for game week 2, which you probably are, you might actually be better off just having him from the start. So as most people say, a transfer is worth a -4, but if you guys don't have any transfers for game week 2, game week 3, or at least you haven't locked any in, you might actually not use that free transfer, so then it's actually worth it for free. But unfortunately, we can't really predict that. Maybe come game week 2, someone like a James or Cancelo's injured, maybe even a Trent or a Salah's out, then we have to make that move, and therefore we're going to have to take a -4 hit to go from Kane to Haaland. So right now I do have Haaland in my selection, but as I said, it's going to be super 50-50 come that game week 1 deadline. But hopefully in my deadline stream, I have an idea before it, otherwise it could get a little bit stressful. Now in terms of that extra 1.0, in terms of the midfield and the forward departments, I can't consider an upgrade. Maybe you guys can drop it in the comments down below, but I wouldn't upgrade any of these kind of midfielders or these forwards, and therefore you're going to spend it on the goalkeeper or the backline. So I think my favorite move here is to go from Ward to Ramsdale, or maybe going from Walker to Diaz, but I think the Ward to Ramsdale will net you more points. And I mean, just consider this draft if you had Ramsdale in net. I think the points potential of this draft is sensational, and that's why I honestly might actually go for this, and that's why I've included it in my final team selection, because this could actually be what I go with. But you guys can leave me in the comments down below, do you prefer draft 1, draft 2, and if you were to make any changes, what would you go for? And at the end of the day, do you like my draft? Now before we actually close the video, I want you guys to comment down below what your current draft's looking like. Is it locked in? Is it not locked in? What are the dilemmas you're currently facing? I'll try and answer as many as possible, or you guys can ask them on my Discord channel where I am a little bit more active. But otherwise, if I don't see you in the deadline stream, good luck for game week 1. Hopefully it's a banger of a season. But this is the best wrap up for you guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like if you did and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. This will be the conclusion of my preseason content. The deadline stream will be the last video or stream that I make. But I just want to thank you guys for all the love and support. It's been amazing. But I'm signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.